keep reinventing ourselves. You know, it's a challenge, but we keep relying on the judges, relying on the community, first and foremost, to keep programs in the community and keep them close, but really looking at starting to plan kids' release back home from the day they walk in the door, and that having a plan getting back into their local community, because the one thing we have to realize and try to educate people, unlike the adult system, our lifers go to age 21. So we really have a short window of time. Our average length of stay is just about a year. So to get people back on track and get them productive and ready to go home takes a lot of work, and that's really what we have to do. But we couldn't do that if all of the initiatives from the past didn't reduce the population. That is key to all of this, and the cooperation of the judges, and the willingness to try some other things other than sending kids to us, because there are kids now that I know judges will take chances on because that capacity is in the community, and that really goes to all the hard work that's been done in the field.
I work for Attorney General Mike DeWine now, and it's kind of nice for me to have conversations because Mike was very directly involved with Gino and with former Assistant Director Carol Rapp Zimmerman. You remember who did so much of the architecture of Reclaim, and actually about 2 years ago we arranged for Attorney General DeWine to address the Senate Judiciary Committee on Reclaim as we talked about it nationally, and so that was very interesting as well. But despite all his many successes in his distinguished career, I know he still sees Reclaim as really a signature piece for the state of Ohio and for the work with young people in Ohio, and it's just so interesting to see how alive and well it continues to be, and what a difference it makes.
Well, the Attorney General has always been a friend of children and community and an advocate for them. I remember that when Mike DeWine was a senator, he brought a Senate hearing to Hamilton County and the Hamilton County Juvenile Court to talk about the things that are being done in Ohio and perhaps moving them into a national way. I remember Senator Jeff Sessions was also there at that time. I can't remember who else, but we did have the director of DYS address the Senate hearing, and I had the opportunity to do so, and Judge Grossman. So anyway, it's been a good relationship with the Attorney General and all the things that he has done to help Ohio as well.
And you know, I think Harvey would agree that the support from the governors has been so critical.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gino felt that. Certainly Governor Taft. In fact, I had the pleasure of being at Governor Taft's 75th birthday party on Saturday, and we had a nice conversation and talked a lot about DYS and about some of the things that we did when he was governor. But he gave me such a free hand to work with the judges and the advocates and others on our work at DYS, and then Governor Strickland the same way when he came in, and I was fortunate enough to be reappointed by Governor Strickland. And again, his interest in what we were doing and his support was just incredible. And I'm sure you feel the same way today. And that having that support from the top and from our governors has, I think, been critical to our success.
We couldn't have done a lot of this without Governor Kasich's willingness to let us try some new things, help us, get through some of our struggles. One of the bigger things here was getting out of our federal litigation. He realized what we needed to do, and it allowed us to fortify the troops here, improve the areas that needed it. The behavior health has really grown tremendously over the last 6 years, and being able to get treatment to kids and get it delivered properly has made all the difference in the world. Keeping our staffing levels where they need to be, making sure that the things our staff need in order to effectively do their job, those things never would have been possible without the support of the governor realizing, that our kids matter and that the things we're doing were important.
Yeah, the judges really appreciate Governor Kasich. He's been very open to the judges coming to address him if they have any kind of issues, and he's invited the judges to do that, and they've taken advantage of it even just recently. So, as like you say, the governor from the top on down, it's critical that they support this team effort that the judges in DYS have forged.
Harvey, you mentioned the litigation, which was, of course, so prominent during my 5.5 years as director. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was my first or second day on the job when I got one of those lawsuits either from DOJ or from the plaintiffs on my desk and started the whole process. I'm curious at times if you ever changed the name of the defendant from Stickrath to Reed, because it used to be every time somebody Googled my name, it was always either JP versus Stickrath or SH versus Stickrath.
It was changed to Reed. It definitely was. We had some rather tenuous moments at the beginning. A lot of things to motivate the staff that the lawsuit's over here. The work is here. Let's concentrate on the work. The lawsuit takes care of itself. And it took some evolutions and some things. We went back to see Judge Marbley a couple of times. I'll never forget him telling me if I didn't get these things together, he would rain down on me like Zeus with lightning bolts. I never forgot that. And when we went back to terminate the lawsuit in December 14, I made it real clear to him. Remember our speech, and when you rained down like, I took that to heart, and after that, things got better. We became bigger partners in this together. He was very helpful in getting us through the conclusion of the lawsuit, and obviously complimentary towards the end because we made a lot of inroads, and now I think we're a model for a lot of people to see, and the things that we've done at the forefront with seclusion and stopping that for as use as punishment, I think has gone a long way. It's allowed us to do some creative off-grounds working for youth. We've had a lot, especially with the girls, we've been able to do some home passes and home visits on weekends to get people ready to go back home, and that transition has been a lot smoother. So a lot of good things came from that, and that's what the purpose of it was, for things to change. And it's been a lot of hard work, and the big key now is not to lose any ground, keep moving forward, and learn from the lessons of the past.
Well, Harvey, I'm going to tell you a little story, since you mentioned the good judge and him raining down on you a few times, because Judge Marbley rained down on me a number of times over the years, in fact, I don't recall winning any motions in his courtroom during my 5.5 years. I'm sure maybe I did it somewhere along the way. But shortly after I went to public safety, I left DYS and went to public safety as director. One Monday morning, I think a colonel or the lieutenant colonel came into my office and says, "Director, you need to know we gave a ticket to a federal judge over the weekend, a speeding ticket." And I said, "Oh, really? Which one?" He said, "Judge Marbley." And of course, I didn't say anything, but or anything that I want to repeat on the film. But I ran into Judge Marbley shortly thereafter at a social event, and I said, "Hey, Judge, I understand one of my troopers gave you a speeding ticket the other day," and he was so classy as he is. He said, "Tom, I deserved it," and he was very professional, but I just always found that interesting right after I went down to public safety, having spent all that time in his chambers and in the courtroom, and then the trooper comes in with that story. But, and Harvey, you talked about the work that you've done on seclusion, and Judge, I'm fortunate to stay active nationally with the American Correctional Association and remain active as a commissioner on accreditation for corrections, and Harvey and I just got back from some of those accreditation hearings last week in Texas, in fact, and I also co-chair a national commission looking at reducing the use of seclusion of youth, the use of separation for youth across the United States. But the point I wanted to make is sitting on those hearings twice a year and looking at juvenile systems across the country, it just continues to make me appreciate the work that gets done by the team here in Ohio, and particularly as we look at this issue of separation and seclusion, because Ohio's taken a leadership position there. One of Harvey's team members is on our national committee, Amy Ast, looking at that area. But it just reinforces, as I do work across the country in corrections and in juvenile justice, again, as you've mentioned earlier with Reclaim, just how often people look to Ohio